Bad Ideas Production. Today we're going to talk about concept art and why I like, I guess, storyboarding. Why I want to talk about concept art today is because anytime I write a script, I need to, I'm more of a visual learner, right? So that makes me more of a visual person just in general, right? Like I like comic books. So when I write my scripts afterwards or even during the process of script writing, I like to go out of my way and draw not every character, but like just even sometimes I like to draw certain scenes from the script that give me the vibe, the colors, just how I want it to look. If I'm having trouble with the scene or with like the continuation of a script, so if I'm like if I have writer's block, I usually like to draw a scene that's already pre-written or something that's just been in my mind for a while. And then when I draw the scene, I like to add the colors and the tone, and it really gives me the mood of the script and where it's gonna go, and it gives me a lot of inspiration doing that. So maybe this is like a little tip to help you guys, continue and not have writer's block. So I give you a little example. So when I was writing the Odyssey of 10,000 feet, I didn't really know how the Loch Ness monster was gonna look like, and he actually wasn't even gonna be in the story like visually. But that doesn't mean that I don't know how it looks like, right? Because when I'm writing this script, I want to know everything about it that not even my audience knows. But because I know it, I could flesh it out in certain ways that the audience could pick up, right? Even if it's left ambiguous. I'm gonna put some pictures up right now, and you can see what I ended up drawing and how it helped me. First thing I did when I was writing the story and I got stuck was concept art. Was literally the submarine. I started tagging the submarine because I had an idea what I wanted to look like, but I didn't specific. There was nothing specifically that encompassed what I was envisioning. So I went out my way and I looked up a bunch of submarines from a bunch of different media, and then I figured out what kind of I wanted, and I ended up drawing it. And then the second thing that I started attacking was the Loch Ness monster because it's very important to the character. So I looked up a bunch of different iterations of the Loch Ness monster, and I kind of made like a compound of it, like a little like it was like a hodgepodge of each different Loch Ness monster, and I made it into my own thing. And then afterwards I start making the characters, right? Because if I could visualize the characters, then I can visualize them speaking, and then it makes it a little more easier to put these characters into a real environment and then actually have them be real characters. So now all of us are going to be good artists, right? So I've been drawing like a long time in my life, and I just do it as a hobby. It's nothing, I don't really I don't go out of my way and learn. I don't go out of my way and like draw every day or learn how to draw. I just been drawing since I was a youngin', right? So I kind of have an idea how to draw, and whatever's in my brain, I have a decent understanding of how to get it to my brain to the paper. But some of you might not have that luxury. You're really busy other stuff, so you don't got time to learn how to draw. But it's very easy. What you could do is look up what you want to look up that's the closest to what your brain's imagining, and then look it up on Google and then copy that, and then look up the second thing that's the closest that your brain's imagining, and then kind of tweak it a little bit. Just a real rough sketch what you kind of want, because there's a quote by Quentin Tarantino that says that as a director, he's not in charge of making his vision. He's in charge of telling other people, the words and the descriptions to make what he wants. So if you could just get a little rough outline, rough sketch with the concept that you want or what you want, visually your project to look like, and you could put it down on paper, even if it's super rough. One day, if you're fortunate enough to get the project going and up and running, and actually to the stages of pre-production to production to post-production, you could have these rough sketches and these visual ideas to give to somebody else, and they could do their magic to put it on screen. So something that I need to mention, this is basically like when you make a movie in pre-production, a lot of movie makers do storyboards, right? I don't do the storyboarding to see how the scenes are gonna go, but more to see this movie is going to feel before I even write it. Or before, yeah, generally I do the concept part before anything's really written down, because that's how personally I could tell where to go, what kind of, like I was saying earlier, the mood, the tone, and things of that nature, where it's gonna help me continue on the story in the same path, right? And not make you feel like two different authors, two different stories, two different things are combining, where everything just has to feel like one narrative structure, right? One, not lineal, but one person made this. It's honed in, it's very focused, and that's why I do concept art. But there could be other reasons, right? Like there could be the reasons of like storyboarding, where you just need to, for directors, when you do a storyboard, you're about to shoot, you already know, how the shots frame, where the characters are at, where yada yada, the blocking. But then you go to me, where I just do the concept art, so it's more of a feelings, more of vibes, more of a um an aesthetic, just to get my mind in that place, because some of these worlds don't exist outside my brain. So yeah, that's what I do, concept art, and hopefully that helps you. And yeah, I know it's a short video, but better is production.